Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Ixion Saga Dimension Transfer Episode 18. Now, from last episode, we're actually taken to Jungleburg, finally. Now, moving on past that, we do find out Kone's being introduced to a new character. His name is Alan. Now, Alan's actually the lab chief and the president of the Ixion Research Center. I thought it was kind of funny, because he was kind of being interrogated by this little kid, who's actually the lab chief. And in order for, Kone to find out more about going to Alvidia and going home, he's got to play ball with this little kid. And this little kid finds out, well, guess what? Kone's a Hyperion, so he can do experiments on him. I thought, oh, this just got interesting. And apparently all these experiments have like a fetish to them. And I was like, what? What's the purpose of these experiments? But eventually Kone gets a couple answers from, Alan in general. But, I mean, it's nothing like he didn't already know. But eventually he gets the gist of what Alan actually does and, what he knows. And then he tries to leave, but it doesn't end up working. In fact, Kone is now being experimented on. But eventually Pet comes in handy. He jumps right in and helps, Kone escape. So I thought that was definitely worth mentioning. Now moving on past that, I definitely have to tell you about this. Okay, now we have Icarlet. Now she has these 18 different marriage rituals she actually has to complete before getting married to this Lord Jungleburg. And Kone walks right in and he hears this guy talk about the 18th marriage ritual, which is about Alvidia. Get out. So there's more information about how to get home if he sticks around. So now we see Kone helping Icarlet out with 18 different marriage rituals. And that's where the episode ends. And I'll hold my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Kone, and he's trying to help Icarlet complete the first marriage ritual, and I thought it was just hilarious. He's on this little log that looks like a wooden dildo. I'm sorry, it's what it looks like. Don't blame me, man. I just thought it was funny. But anyways, he's helping her with the first marriage ritual, and I thought it was definitely worth mentioning. However, we are taken to a different scene with Kone after he helps her complete the first ritual, and he's asking Icarlet, why do I have to help you with these rituals? And he's being told because it's a tradition. But it's not answering his question, why does he have to do it? And everyone keeps saying, oh yeah, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, because it's a tradition. I'm like, fuck tradition. But again, that's where we open up with. Moving on past that, we're taking to a different scene with Kone. Now this is jumping a little ahead to a couple different, the marriage rituals in general. We're actually at the dominoes ritual. I'm like, dominoes? So there's a dominoes ritual, but sorry, I mean really? But sorry, I digress. So we open up the scene with Kone, and he's doing the dominoes ritual. And he's kind of, he talks about the previous rituals kind of while he's working on the dominoes, so we get to see the other previous rituals. But still, all those dominoes, that was just hilarious. But again, we're taken to the second ritual, because we're doing a light flashback, I guess. So the second ritual had to do with carving swans. I was like, okay, it represents eternal love, so Kone has to carve, out of wood, 2 swans. I was like, okay. Then we hear Icarlet. Icarlet is amazing. I love what she said. Basically, the only reason why Kone's doing this is because giving a damn is part of the ritual. I'm like, did that little girl just say that? I think so, and I love hearing her say that, man. God, that put a smile on my face. Now, we're moving on past that. We're thrown with a little light information. Apparently, the second ritual's been completed, and Kone wants to stop. I was like, yeah, I would want to stop too. I mean, wooden swans? Okay, I know it represents eternal love, but really? But anyways, moving on past that, we find out Miranda tells Kone, if you stop halfway when you're doing a ritual, I'm going to kill you. She pulls a gun on him. I'm like, oh, now, come on. That's just not fair. I mean, seriously. But I thought it was hilarious. Now, at the same time, Icarlet takes an axe and cuts the swans right down the middle that Kone made, and he just loses it. I was like, wow. So moving on past that, we're taken to a different scene with Kone and everyone else, and they're doing folk dance. This is the next ritual, technically. I think it's the third ritual. At least that's what it looks like. And they're doing folk dance. They're dancing around the fire. And guess what? Those swans that Kone made are now being tossed into the fire, and they're burning it, and they're just doing folk dance. They're just dancing around the fire. I'm like, huh? So apparently it's for their love, they must burn like the flames, if that makes any sense. So they've got to burn the 2 swans. So okay. And no, it gets better. Trust me, I'll get to it in the next scene. Then moving on past that, we do find out, apparently, we're taken to a different scene with Sanglion. And basically he says they must use the ash from the fire to draw art. I'm like, what? So you're going to take the ashes from the swans you burned to make art on the ground. And Kone has to be the one to do it, not anyone else, because he's the only one around that apparently is an artist. he's not an artist. So we're taken to a different scene with Cone, and Cone completes the drawing. So Cone actually completes the drawing out of the ashes of the swans. I was like, and he's very motivated to do it, I guess. And he's actually being very mature about it. He's like, he acts like he knows everything now. Like everything makes sense. Like this is his zen, you know? It's like, I don't know, it's doing a little Yoda on us per se. But that was kind of short-lived because we see Pet, Sanglion, Mirandel, and everyone else blow away the drawing. They're just cleaning it up. I was like, what? Oh, poor Cone, man. I would so lose this. I would just go to the bar and get plaster. I'm like, oh, fuck this, I'm done. But I was like, oh my god. So finally we're taken back to where we originally opened up with the dominoes, the 5th ritual, and we see the dominoes ritual, which I thought was kind of funny, and he's just going crazy when he's done. Eventually Cone does finish, and he just runs away, and he starts screaming, he's like, I'm done, blah blah blah. I'm like, he's losing it. I'm like, I don't know how many times those dominoes probably fell, but he definitely just ran away once it was done. I'm like, it was hilarious. Apparently, get this, there was 4,500,279,000 pieces of dominoes. Holy fuck. Are you kidding me? Oh, that must have took how many hours? Apparently the previous one had 278 out of the million, and he only had 279. So apparently you're supposed to have one extra domino to beat the last year or the previous marriage of the Jungle Burks from the previous lord. So I guess that's part of the tradition. But I thought that was kind of funny, definitely worth mentioning. Now, moving on past that, now I should point out, well, I started laughing when I started seeing this scene, in my opinion. So, obviously, we're taking to a different scene now. All I can say is, guess what? Dukakis, yeah, they're there. They're spying. CT Kakis, Leon, Verasian, Gustav, and KT, they're spying on Cone, and they're just joking around. I mean, Gustav was joking around. He's looking in his, like, little binoculars, and he looks like he's doing a little soap opera. Like, you see Cone and Mirandel talking, and, like, kind of fucked up and funny. Like, blah, 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 blah. God, I love that guy. But anyways, they're spying on them, and we see Dukakis basically saying, do they know we're watching them? Do they know we know that they know that we know? I'm like, Dukakis is just burning himself out because he's like, do they know that we know? Do they know we're spying on them? Or maybe they're playing dumb? I'm like, if they're playing dumb, they're doing a pretty goddamn good job, because I couldn't even tell. I loved it. That's how funny this freaking episode was. Now we are taken to a different scene yet again. It's another flashback, but it's with Dukakis and his subordinates. Now apparently we're taken to the first ritual where we get to see Cone on that huge log that's wooden that looks like a goddamn dildo. I'm sorry, Cone, man. I'd hate to be you. But anyways, they try to sabotage the ritual by getting naked. Who comes up with those kind of ideas? Come on! Oh my god, no, it gets better. There's, around the folk dance, when we see, E-Carlet and everyone else dancing, they're sitting in their own little powwow, talking. How the hell is that wrecking, sabotaging anything? You're in a goddamn campfire on your own, just shooting the breeze. Like little chatty Cathys, like little schoolgirls. God, it's hilarious. Sorry, I digress. We're taking to the next ritual, which was the drawing. Now, I thought this was definitely worth mentioning. We see Dukakis, and he's watching Cone using the ashes to make artwork on the ground, and we see Dukakis' men behind the other bush watching Dukakis watch Cone, and they're like, they don't know what Dukakis is doing, but Dukakis is getting all nervous. I'm like, why is he getting nervous? Well, apparently he's a perfectionist. He sees Cone, and Cone's kind of screwing up the artwork, so he actually gets up and introduces himself to Cone. He's like, I'm going to help you. And he just sits down, starts doing him. Cone kind of freaks out. Like, whoa. He's kind of in a defensive mood, but, they're on neutral grounds. And Cone and Dukakis are connecting as friends. I'm like, what? What? I'm sorry. This is the guy that took your nuts away. Dukakis, man. This is Cone. He took your nuts away. And you're helping him. Moron. But I thought it was funny. But again, they're just, I guess, bonding. Because, I guess, Dukakis is a perfectionist. He has to have everything precise. Like that character from Soul Eater. Oh my god. But again, it's a laugh out loud moment, definitely. But we are taking to a different scene with Dukakis. Now, he has a plan for the dominoes ritual. And I thought it was the stupidest plan ever. This is what Dukakis wanted to do. He told his subordinates, Verasian and everyone else, go to the city, go to Jungle Burke, the city, and buy all the dominoes. So, Cone can't finish this ritual. I'm like, so you're going to spend money to buy dominoes just to stop someone from doing a pathetic ritual that may or may not fail on its own? Stupid. But yeah, he goes down. All of his men try buying all the dominoes, and they're broke, so they can't buy anything. But they find, believe this or not, it's a black market dealer who sells dominoes. Ironically, comes out of nowhere. He's like, yeah, I'll sell you them. And it looks like they're about to actually buy the actual dominoes in general. But guess what? Cone and Miranda come out of nowhere, and they're like, yeah, we like to buy them. And Cone basically says, okay, so Dukakis, you want to buy them, and Miranda, you want to buy them. Let's have a tug of war. So they're playing tug of war on the black market dealer. And we don't know who wins because guess what? Miranda falls on top of, Dukakis. Dukakis falls on to Miranda, and they grab each other by the genitals. So you see Dukakis grabbing Miranda, because remember, Miranda is transgender, so Miranda actually does have nuts. So Dukakis is grabbing Miranda's nuts, and you have Miranda grabbing Dukakis's something that's not there. He doesn't have balls, remember, so she's grabbing nothing. And remember, they're just falling on top of each other by accident because they were playing tug of war to get the dominoes from this guy. And they're turned on, they're blushing. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I mean, think about it. Dukakis, you're engaged, what the hell? And Miranda, you're into dudes? You are a dude? Okay, I'm not gonna go there, but it's just fucking hilarious, and I love it. I have no idea what's going on, but that's what I like. And again, that's where the episode ends. And let's see, as for my final thoughts, oh my god, Dukakis, Miranda, what's up? That's all I gotta say about that. What's up? You know what I'm talking about. Oh my god, it's hilarious. Moving on past that, as for these wedding rituals, or these marriage rituals, I believe that's what they're called, marriage rituals, that E-Carlet needs to have before she gets married. What else are we looking at here? Dominoes, making swans out of wood, and then burning it to use the ashes to make artwork. I'm seeing where it how it works into traditional wise, but why? It's pointless. Also, I mean, I'm curious to see the Olga sorority, what their next move is going to be. Now that, Cone is here with everyone else, and, the marriage rituals are taking effect. We really don't know what's going to happen next. But again, that is it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, are you serious? 4 out of 5. You know why? We got to see Dukakis and Miranda in that horrible situation, and God, I needed a good laugh, and it was definitely there. Was there any new information about Alvidia with Cone and, with these rituals helping him out? God, no, there wasn't, so I'm not going to go there. Was there any fight scenes? No, this episode was based on comedy. Comedy alone. That's why I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Are you serious? But again, final rating, 4 out of 5, and that ends it for my walkthrough review of Ixion Saga Dimension Transfer episode 18. Definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down, definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. But that ends it for now, but let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's gonna happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, I gotta go, I gotta hit the bricks, and before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.